Early morning to you, Candice. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good morning.
We've got Texas and we got California. California being you're up bright and early, but you usually join us anyway.
Yes.
Congratulations again on your 300. Was it 399 days at this point? Your streak.
Yeah, yesterday was 399.
All
Uh-huh.
right. Obviously a key lag indicator towards financial success when you have that kind of discipline. So congratulations. And your grand opening. So you are
Yeah.
officially multi-location. Bravo. Let's give Candice a little virtual round of applause here.
Thank
And,
you.
you and I, you're also a Qnity educator and a coach. And we had this conversation. Both of us were thinking the same thing. I think we talked about maybe 2 weeks ago. I thought, wouldn't it be great if you chronicle your experience of going from 1 to 2 locations and use it as a way to educate and help others through the process? Because I've really, in all my time and, specializing in multi-location, I've never seen sort of a turnkey way to go from 1 to 2. But I had no idea. In fact, even when I brought this up yesterday, your process and your grand opening in your second location seems to have gone very smoothly without stress.
Yeah.
Of course, that's easy for me to say. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, like the logistics of getting it set up and built and, the training and just getting everything prepared for opening was very stress-free because we had a really good plan and
All
we
right.
used Qnity tools. So
So you're going to show us. I was kind of blown away when I saw what you did, but let me just make a comment to our members of our community this morning. Is that in looking at multi-location for a very long time, 2 to 10s around over 12 years, it's very rare to cross state lines, very rare. And I can count on my 10 fingers here how many in that category have crossed state lines. It's very difficult. So I just want to say now, let's be clear. This is a full state away. This is not a drive away. This isn't 30 miles away or 3.5 miles. You're in the Bay Area, and this was Portland. So it's quantumly harder to open a second location when you cross state lines. Agreed?
I mean, I don't know any different at
You
this
don't know any
point.
different?
This is my second location, but or my first multi-location venture. But I would assume so. I have the right people in place though, which makes things a lot different. I have really, really strong leaders, somebody that's worked with me for several years, is very, very committed to our mission and the success. So, that is definitely a huge piece, and I would never attempt it without that.
What we talked about is maybe you even doing a breakout or something at 2 to 10 on this. And when I saw what you put together yesterday, it's still quite raw because it's less than a week opening. But why not? And Tracy, you're going to totally dig this, by the way. Why don't you take the screen over?
Okay.
And if I need to do permissions or whatever, I'll be ready to do that. But just give us sort of a glimpse in how you approach this from a pre-planning standpoint, and how really a cocktail of tools such as 9grids, whatever, was a big part of your process. So we'll have you kind of take us through. We're just going to do a quick abbreviated version today, and then we can unpack more in the future. But go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So, before I share my screen, that was definitely the logistics setup. Where I started, of course, was with my financial plan and with my accountant, and we created a break-even analysis and just made sure that the whole thing had the opportunity to pencil out at some point. That was definitely the starting point. Then it was several months of negotiating the lease and getting that situation settled. And then once we finally signed, it was okay, we have the green light. What has to happen now? It was just far away, and then all of a sudden here. So we started by taking a 5 functions approach. So I'm going to share my screen here. And basically, similar to what you were saying, I have a director of operations that is involved in both locations, and her name's Ashley. She's like my right-hand woman. Her and I just sat down at my kitchen island and just started throwing things on 9 grids, like all the things that needed to happen. And so we went function by function. So we've got, you know, our marketing, our education. So on the left here, you can see like what the to-do list was. And on the right, you can see as things got checked off the list. So started by just brain dumping everything on these 9 grids for each function. And then the next step was going back through the 9 grids and delegating who was going to do what and when it needed to be done by. And then we transferred it to a 13-week planner. And so here's mine. And then Ashley, who's our operations director, she had like her big things that she had to do leading up to the opening, which was over here at the end of the 13 weeks. Same thing with Adam, who's the location manager. He was in charge of like the decor and then a lot of recruitment efforts and just being there for the local stuff because he lives there. And every week we had our meeting and we said, hey, how did it go last week? Did we get everything done? What's next? And the ball just kept rolling and it just rolled all the way to opening. So, you know, that's the short version of the story, but it was pretty darn smooth when it came to the things that we had control over, you know. It was great. The only thing we forgot one thing. We forgot to bring gift cards up there, but they're in the mail and now we're good to go.
Otherwise, nothing fell through the cracks from your assessment?
No, you know, hiring we knew was going to be a challenge. We have only two team members so far, and the next phase of that it's in here somewhere. Let's see. The next phase of that is just of this project is like a heavy focus on hiring. So here's the planner for the next phase, and then everybody's got their jobs, and a lot of it is focused around recruitment. And you know, we have actually had a lot of interest so far, and now that the space is complete, and you know, it's been pretty seamless with, and I don't want to make it sound overly easy, like opening a second location is hard. Like it's not like I breezed through it, but having the tools and then having the right leaders in place was huge, and I couldn't imagine doing it without both. So
Candice, it's really well done. Thank you for sharing. And I'm frankly a little envious because I wish that I would have had that process many years ago to create seamless location opening, whether it's a store up in Aspen, which I was an owner in, or Denver-based business, or distribution, or owning salons. I mean, really awesome.